Tight tendons, snug sneakers, flowing fluids, 20,000 people trying to run 20 miles in 3 different races. The Louisville Triple Crown, with one big difference this year. Standing at the start line, a runt of a runner who can't spell start.
You're 67?
Yeah.
And he's 5.
Yeah. It sounds like maybe, and I'm going to be trying to keep up with him.
Today, 5K stands for 5-year-old kindergartner. Connor Schiffer cannot read yet, but he can run, and he's my show and tell project. Little boys hate to tie shoes.
I have tights on.
Tights are for girls.
It's to keep you warm.
I don't care, these are still the girl tights.
He's got some endurance. We just didn't know how much endurance.
Until she brought him along on a 5K.
Good pace. You're doing good.
And he ran away.
This is a 9-minute mile pace, okay?
So she turned him over to Dad.
You're getting your shoes wet.
Had him checked out by a doctor.
There's something wrong with this child because there's no way he can keep running like that.
Got permission to turn him loose.
You don't want to run off and leave me.
And they've been trying to reel him in ever since.
You're killing me, but you're doing good.
I think he's booking.
He's 5. 5 years old.
Amazing.
The first leg of the Triple Crown is a sprint for this 5-year-old. The real challenge starts when they double the distance.
How you feel, Connor?
Yeah. To 6.2 miles.
That's amazing. He's amazing.
In leg number 2.
He's freaking the bad man pajama.
For 2 little legs.
And we've got a little 4-year-old, and it's like, could he do that?
Got 3 more miles.
Yep.
Can you make it?
Yes. My knees are just tired.
But there's a bigger problem brewing.
He's got to go number 1 and number 2.
And no bathrooms when you need them, so they pit stop in a pet store.
Yeah, go little man, go little man. Yeah, you're there, buddy.
Dad tries to get him to fill his empty fuel tanks, but Connor would rather toss it.
Yeah, baby. There you go, buddy.
When he crosses the finish line, he keeps running because he can't read yet and has no idea what that sign means.
Are you having trouble keeping up with him? Yeah, absolutely.
The final leg, the 10-miler, is serious business for even the serious runners.
You can do it, baby! You can do it, baby! Way to go!
Then there's that kid, clowning on the curbs, goofing on the grass, and telling all his best jokes.
Why did 6 get scared of 7?
Why?
Because 7, 8, 9.
We've been kind of right behind him for a while, and
Yeah.
it's just so cool. We were trying to figure out how old he was. He was 5 years old.
We're in mile 9. Uncharted territory for a little 5-year-old Connor. Furthest he's been on a training run is 7. And he shows no signs of wear and tear. In fact, he's passing people.
That's awesome. Go, Connor!
When he enters the stadium, he's a rock star. Kid Rock finishes the 10-miler in 2 hours, 10 minutes. Half the age of the youngest competitors. Connor finishes in front of 1,300 other people. 1,300 have to tell their children they were beaten by a kindergartner who's become a performance-enhancing drug to everyone who gets near him.
It just amazes me, John, the way he is, and I wish I could bottle it up and feed it to myself sometimes.
While Connor finished all 3 races, 3, 6, and 10 miles long, he won't be allowed to run 13 now. The youngest applicant in the history of the famous Derby Festival Mini Marathon is also the only applicant ever to be rejected for safety reasons. How young is too young when it comes to distance running? We take a run at that question tomorrow at 6 with positions by doctors, Derby Festival directors, and parents. I'm John Boel, Wave 3 News. Yeah, Scott, I've seen a lot of little kids run by me over the past 25 years here in the mini marathon, but nothing quite like this kid. 5-year-old Connor Schiffer is by far the youngest ever applicant here at the mini marathon. Now he's the first one they've ever rejected, which raises the controversial question, how young is too young for distance running? In the huge herd of horses galloping their way through the Triple Crown of running this year, there was a pony. Make that a foal, a 5-year-old boy, by far the youngest to ever tackle the Triple Crown. 3 races, 3, 6, and 10 miles long. And Connor Schiffer wanted to run 13 in the famous Kentucky Derby Festival mini marathon. But 3 weeks before the race, his registration was rejected, money refunded, and Dad resisted.
They said they were looking out for his safety, but I'm more interested in his safety than anybody. And if I thought it was unsafe, I wouldn't enter him.
We look at it from a perspective of how much running experience do they have.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Connor's parents say his resume is already impressive.
Good pace.
7-mile training runs for months. He finished ahead of thousands in the Triple Crown.
Tell her about all the people you passed.
And the mini marathon last year had 9 finishers in the 0 to 10 age division, some as young as 8.
He's trained so hard for it. And you know, if they were to look at him as an individual instead of just on paper, they would see that not only is he capable, but he'll be better prepared than a lot of the runners that was there. I mean, he bested 2100 on the last run.
That's a great accomplishment for him and for the family, and that is their experience with that runner. From our perspective, the committee and the staff and our partners just are not comfortable at this time.
You know, what would it look like for a 5-year-old to be out there at the start line with 16,000 other runners? And from a safety perspective, that was a really big issue for us.
Connor is their youngest race applicant ever, by far, and the first they've ever rejected. They say it's about more than just running experience.
We do look at them on a case-by-case basis. We look for, are they a part of a school program? Are they playing soccer? Are they playing field hockey? Are they playing football? Are they in some type of organized sport where they had a medical physical? They are conditioning every single day or the majority of the year.
How you doing? With more people getting involved in running these days, this controversy raises the question, how young is too young for distance running? Patrick Myers at Apex Physical Therapy was going to tell us a fast-growing 5-year-old should not run distance.
My knees are just tired.
Okay, well, initially I thought, of course, I mean, it makes sense. Don't run it. You know, the child's developing, they're still growing. There's a lot of soft spots, in fact, growth plate, a lot of growth plate left in those bones to grow and expand. And I thought, no, they have plenty of years to run.
Then he did some research, analyzing studies on injuries of distance runners as young as 7, and he changed his mind.
But those injuries with the youth participants were about half of what the adult participants had.
I hurt myself.
Dr. Laura Jacks is an orthopedic surgeon. Of the 100 kids she's scheduled to see today, she says 1 or 2 of them will have stress fractures, mostly from cheerleading and gymnastics.
I don't personally think that there is a too young limit. I think it's child-centered. Every child is different.
How you feel, Connor?
How young is too young for a child to play in 2 back-to-back soccer games? How young is too young for a child to play in a doubleheader baseball game? I don't think there is a limitation.
There you go, buddy.
Connor's dad says he told their story here at the Runners Expo to the people running the Indianapolis half marathon this fall, and they told him they'd love to have him up there. And I got to tell you, my Facebook and Twitter blowing up already with invitations for Connor to be a celebrity runner at their event. So this is going to be big. Reporting live here at the start line, number 2401, John Boel, Wave 3 News. It doesn't feel like it at 4 in the morning in the middle of $10 million worth of bikes, but it's 140 miles from the inflation of the tires
You gotta pick it up!
to the elation of the finish.
You are an Ironman, Kelsey. You are Ironman. Well worth it. Thank you.
Athletes from all over the map.
All the way from Greece.
Saludos a Mexico.
Speaking the same language. 2.4 mile swim.
Thanks, guys.
112 mile bike. 26 mile run. And when athletes cover that much ground, the ground gets covered with athletes. There is a side to the Ironman triathlon that's not sunny side up. It's scrambled, boiled, poached, and fried. Promoters don't like to talk about it. Participants don't do interviews about it. DNF did not finish. Ironman Louisville has the highest DNF rate of all North American Ironman distance triathlons, as high as 16%. 400 DNFs a couple years ago, 226 this time because it's 91 degrees.
A lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of training, a lot of family support, and a lot of electrolytes.
There is plenty of fuel available, unleaded to premium.
Do you have another water?
But at some point,
Perform.
they can't perform anymore.
You do what you can do, and then you have to give yourself a break. But they're out here trying. I'm serving water, so no judgment on my part.
The reporter covering the story is falling victim too.
I'm having issues. I've already vomited twice. They were going to pull me out of the race. I told them I'm doing a story on people getting pulled out of the race. I can't go.
Normally, an ambulance is seen as a savior. Today, they feel like vultures, watching, waiting to pick up a carcass and carry it to the convention center. They can't find a parking place because Norton Healthcare is treating 487 athletes in the medical tent.
I've DNF'd, everybody's DNF'd, they come back, they try again, they train harder, they work on the nutrition plan. Hopefully it'll be a little cooler and they try it again. Yeah.
There's no crying in Ironman.
I fall.
Many of the finishers are loaded in wheelchairs, feeling lucky. They made it farther than hundreds of their brothers and sisters will. Still out there on the course somewhere, reflecting, regurgitating, refusing to take no for an answer.
The people who didn't finish.
Come back and try it again.
John Boel, WAVE 3 News.